What's up, guys? Matt McCoy, country song teacher. I hope you're doing well. They say the old legendary football coach Vince Lombardi used to start out the first practice of every season saying, "This is a football." He talked about the most basic things you want to make sure everybody knows. You have to have that foundation. So occasionally on my channel, I like to go back to the very, very root of guitar and break down what does it mean to learn guitar. Maybe you have a friend, a coworker, a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, a roommate in college, whatever, that you think might want to learn guitar. Please send them this video. I'm going to go over 5 steps it takes to learn the guitar. So you see this instrument that has this big body here, this long neck, all these little squares, looks like a bunch of strings, even though there's just 6 strings. But there's really just 5 steps to learning guitar. The first one is choosing the right guitar. This might sound simple because maybe you're like me. I thought every guitar is kind of the same. They all got 6 strings. A G sounds like a G. So what is there really to pick between the two? One's brown, one's black, one's white, one's electric, one's not, but they're all kind of the same. That's not at all true. And I tell people all the time, when I used to teach people in person, if you're a beginner guitar player and you're thinking about quitting, make sure you at least practice and try to play a really expensive guitar before you do, because it is night and day how the chords sound. With a nice guitar versus a cheap one. A cheap one, you can be doing everything right and it's so out of tune and it sounds so bad. Another thing to consider is the thickness. This is a Washburn guitar, one of the first guitars I learned on. I picked that guitar because it's really thin. So I wanted a guitar that I could lean against me and lean over and see what I need to be doing as far as the strings. If you have a guitar with a wide bass and you're starting out, you're so far away from the guitar, you can't see what's going on. So then you end up laying it down like this, then your hand and wrist position's off, and you're trying to form chords. I've seen this all the time in person. So choosing the right guitar is super important. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is learn to hold the guitar and tune it. Now, the second part especially. Holding the guitar, you just have it sitting on your leg. You want to make sure your leg's not lowered as far as your knee is not lower than your waist, because then the guitar is always, when you're playing, it's sliding off of you. So if you need a footstool or a couple books or something, you want your knee to be above your waist so that you can really lean on that guitar, get over it, and be able to see the chords. And the second part of step number 2 is make sure you tune the guitar. So many times, when I used to teach people in person, especially a lot of kids, they would be doing the right things, playing the right chords, doing the right strumming, but it was out of tune. And if your guitar is out of tune, no matter how good you are, the most advanced pro ever, that right there will never sound like a G. That'll never be a C. That'll never be a D. So make sure your guitar is in tune. There's apps called Guitar Tuna, is what I use. App on your phone. This guitar has a tuner built in. A lot of times guitars come with a little clip-on tuner. Whatever it is, you go to each string, you take your pick or your finger, whatever you want, and you go to each string, and you tighten and loosen all the way down until it's tuned. So that's step number 2. Step number 3 is you're going to press strings to play your first chords. So all you're doing, when people talk about playing a chord, certain notes make up a chord. So when you press, like this, for example, this top string is called an E string. When you press it on this first fret, each of these squares is called a fret. You see all these little squares? First fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret. You can even see these dots. That's on the 3rd fret. That's on the 5th fret, 7th, 9th, and the 2 dots is 12th. So when you press a string, you're playing a certain note. So for example, that's called an open E string. When you play a string by itself, it's referred to as open. When you press the top string, that'd be the F, F sharp, G, G sharp, or A flat, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. So again, you don't necessarily need to know that right off the bat, but that's what you're doing. When you're pressing the strings, you're playing what's called notes. When you put certain notes together, like you're pressing the 5th string, the 2nd fret, the top string, and maybe the bottom 2 strings of the 3rd fret, you strum all those together, and it forms a G chord. So you want to learn how to press the strings. I go over all this stuff in detail, guys. This is a little sales pitch. I have a beginner guitar course for the price of less than 2 lessons. I'll walk you through every single thing, slow motion, how to play your first songs, and give you all that stuff. So please go check that out if you haven't already. If you want to learn guitar, I'm telling you, I make this for people. Say, what's the difference in my courses versus my lessons here on YouTube? YouTube's obviously free. The courses break it down in like 5-minute lesson formats. It's a lot more zoomed in, a lot clearer. That I break it down really slow, so you can go check this block. Then I'm right here. Check this block. It's a lot more lesson format. That's how courses are different than just kind of me just hitting the high points of lessons here on YouTube. So when you learn to press certain strings, you put them together. That's what's called forming a chord. So you want to know how to form certain chords. That's just a matter of looking things up on YouTube, on the internet, whatever, and you see that maybe pressing the 5th and 4th string of the 2nd fret, and strumming all 6 strings is an E minor. So we just work on that. It's like an A5, the 2 middle strings. Now, part number 4, what you want to do to learn guitar is understand strumming. So many people mess this up. Strumming is about timing. So many people teach strumming patterns, and there's something to be said about strumming patterns, about going down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. But the better way to think about it is think about timing. Music is like a dance. It's a rhythm and a flow. So you have to, like, a guy told me a long time ago, you look at your right hand like a drum. So sometimes you're going to stop the strings. I might do palm mute. So more than a strumming pattern of down, down, up, down, up, down, up. You want to think about timing. Again, what is the timing of each chord? When I see the chord, I see the order of the chords. How long should I stay on each chord until it's time to switch? And you're just listening to that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And the 5th and final stage, once you understand strumming, is putting it all together. So you're combining what string. I know how to hold a guitar. I know how to tune the guitar. I know what are the string names. I know where to press for a chord. And I know the timing of the strumming, and I know kind of the order. So certain songs. Smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you catch me if ever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all. Things you do to spice it up, like what's called a hammer-on, kind of. That's when, like, maybe you first play the chord open, and you add. There's little things like that you can do. You can walk in and out of the chords like this. You do a string stop, or kind of. Palm mutes, all kinds of fancy stuff you can do, but it's all based on holding the guitar, learn to hold the pick or no pick. Sometimes I even do. Understand how to make a chord, how to strum. Like, for example, on a G chord, it's all 6. On a C chord, it's the bottom 5. The D chord, bottom 4. So you're not always strumming everything. On an up strum, people think you got to strum all the strings. You're just strumming the bottom 2 or 3. It's little things like that. But guys, let me encourage you. You can learn this instrument. It seems complicated. It seems like a lot of squares and a lot of little rectangles and stuff, everything. When you break it down, and I show this in my course, when you understand really even just these 2 frets, just the 2nd and 3rd fret, and play everything right here, then you use that right here. Here it is. I'm trying to find that. Use what's called a capo. You can clip it on here and change the sound. Do all kinds of stuff with this little capo, so that's a good little trick to use for beginners. But you keep the guitar simple and you crawl before you walk. You slowly get better, more and more chords, understand different strumming patterns, and you can be playing thousands of songs, whether it's in church, whether it's country music, whether it's rock and roll on the radio, whatever, once you understand just these 5 basic steps. So share this, please, with someone you know that you think might want to learn guitar. It seems complicated, but you're like, man, this guy's kind of crazy. This old country boy might be able to teach me. I think I can. I've taught thousands of people all over the world. God's blessed me, I think, with the gift of teaching. So I always say I want to be a channel of God's blessings, not a reservoir. Don't forget, I've got 3 channels. This channel, Country Song Teacher, Acoustic Selection, where I teach praise and worship lessons. And then my name, Matt McCoy. I do a lot of prime country guitar lessons, that kind of thing. So be sure to subscribe to all 3. They're all in the description below. And check out my website, Countrysongteacher.com. All one word, Countrysongteacher.com. You'll see I have 4-chord, tons of digital songbooks, strumming courses, beginner guitar courses, beginner piano courses, everything to keep music super simple. That's the kind of guy I am. I'm not too fancy. I like to keep it simple for beginners who think they can never play. That's my kind of jam, is making someone who thinks they can't play the guitar or piano. So hope I helped you out. Go to Countrysongteacher.com. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash the like button. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's go.